to have all this time to introduce myself. I'm used to the short, hello, my name is Marielle and I'm a dentist, only to witness the hand I'm about to shake go. The other scenarios are not much better. Long stories about excruciating pain experienced in a dental office, or stories about unnecessary fillings. So yeah, I'm a dentist. But I wasn't born that way. I was born the middle child to Antoinette and Jean-Paul Parisot. She was a formidable school teacher, and he an elegant salesman. In Ile Perrot, where I grew up, I spent countless hours in the woods, hand-feeding chipmunks and chickadees. When I turned 13, my parents gave me a dog to stop me from begging to get a dog all the time. It should have been obvious to everyone that my calling was veterinary medicine, but when it came time to choose a profession, I entered dental school. There weren't very many girls in dental school back then, and many held the belief that they didn't belong there at all, because they would never be as productive as men. When I graduated, I was hired by Saint-Justin Hospital for Children in Montreal, where the #1 user of operating room time was dentistry under general anesthesia. I couldn't have dreamed of a better place to be. And when I was on the boards, I set out to implement programs to help hospitalized children keep their teeth healthy. Blissfully unaware the first year that I was not welcomed as a dentist in this hospital setting. And the second year, I became painfully aware of that fact. So after 2 years of hospital dentistry, I resigned to open a private clinic with a good friend of mine. And with that choice, I started working even longer hours, which concerned many friends and relatives, who colluded to find me a husband with a series of organized blind dates. A series of nightmares from my point of view, except for the last one. Hans showed up. Hans is an elegant and athletic OBGYN and father of 2. He showed up on my doorstep before I had a chance to call to cancel for what I expected to be another horrendous evening. Not quite 9 months later, I became his wife, and by the same token, a second mom to 11-year-old Mark and 9-year-old Veronica. In Montreal, Hans and I worked really long hours, and we saw large numbers of patients. When we talked about work, we talked about cases, not people. During those crazy busy years, a dream was born of living on a farm and working in a smaller community. So in a bold move, we left the cosmopolitan downtown core of Montreal to become farm owners and special friends to a 3-legged mouse called Billy. In Almont, a small rural Ontario town of 4,000. Life-changing. Professionally, we saw much fewer patients, and literally overnight, our practices became relationship-focused. And we became better human beings for it. The farm allowed me to unleash my passion for dogs. And I started a kennel, breeding collies. I competed with many homebred dogs in conformation, obedience, agility, flyball, and garnered along the way a couple of Best in Show and High in Trial awards. I also discovered the joys of horseback riding. But in 1992, tragic events led Hans and I to reconsider our life choices. We sold the farm. I cried. And we relocated to Ottawa, Canada's capital. And there we continued focusing our professional efforts on people and health-centered practices. In my free time there, I continued honing my horsemanship skills, obtaining my level 1 coaching certificate and competing in dressage. Hans and I together also took up ballroom dancing, and eventually that led us to compete as an amateur couple, and that's another story. In 2000, Veronica gave us our first grandchild in Almont, but she soon moved to Los Angeles, Mark, now established for a long time in Park City with his wife Tara, gave us 3 more grandsons. We visited as often as we could, and so did they, but it never amounted to enough. So in June 2011, we initiated immigration procedures. In October 2012, we got our green cards. I officially retired from clinical dentistry, and this past holiday season, for the first time in 10 years, Hans and I, along with Mark, Veronica, and their children, celebrated Christmas together. These days, my life is simple, but it's filled with really important stuff, such as being a hands-on grandmama. I don't miss clinical dentistry, but I remain keenly connected to my profession as I work on a project that hopefully one day will change how people greet a dentist. Thank you.